When I'm biking and exploring somewhere new, I don't want to be stopping to pull up my phone for directions. I want my phone in front of me where I can easily get it. I went on a quest to find the best smartphone handlebar mount for your bike. So in this video, I'll show you the 3 mounts that I think are the most worth looking into. And in the end, I'll let you know which one I ended up choosing. First up is the Quadlock out front mount. The Quadlock mount is $40 and is made of tough glass nylon, which from my little bit of research has a similar strength to aluminum. In the box you get the mount, a 3mm Allen key, and 3 spacers. This mount will work on handlebars that are 22, 25.4, 31.8, and 35mm in diameter. Installation of all these mounts is very similar. To install the mount, first loosen the screw with the Allen key. From there you put the mount over the handlebars where you'd like to mount your phone, using the spacer that helps the mount fit nice and snug. I personally prefer to have it installed so my phone is centered right in front of me. With this mount, you can also install in reverse, so your phone is a little closer to you, which I would say either option just comes down to personal preference. That's basically it. Pretty simple. To use the mount, you need a Quadlock case. The case costs you another $40 for the version I've got here, which is MagSafe compatible and a little slimmer than the original case, which is only $5 less. So this whole mount setup costs $80, which is the least expensive of the 3 mount systems. What you'll see from the other 2 mounts we look at is that they all come with the mounting spot for the action camera, which is another $10 if you want to add it to the Quadlock. So we'll just call it $90 to get the equivalent rig. Let's take a closer look at this case. Inside the case in the center is the back half of the mounting system, which I feel like is something to keep in mind, that this will be making contact with the back of your phone while it's on the mount. Everything else around here is kind of a thick foamy rubber, which I think would help with vibration as well as offer some drop protection. Now here's a look at the phone in the case from the front, as well as a look at the case from the back. Looking at the left side, you'll see the buttons here, which are all floating, but not all equally responsive. What I've found is that the volume up and down have a good click, but the action button doesn't really have much movement. It still works if you hold it down, but there isn't really much movement to give you that satisfying click. On the right side, the side button has a good click and is floating just like the other buttons. And then for the camera control button, you have a cutout, which gives you good access to be able to use the button. Down at the bottom are 2 lanyard mounts and cutouts for your microphone, charging port, and speaker. The lip on this case is good, so you can see that this case is going to do a good job keeping your screen off of surfaces like tables if you're placing your phone face down. And then looking at the back, the case has decent protection for your camera rings as well. Worth noting though is that the camera ring does slope down towards the middle of the case, so you're not getting quite as much protection for this bottom camera. Now like we'd mentioned, the case is MagSafe compatible and has decently strong magnets. No issues charging when connected to a MagSafe stand, and no issues holding onto the stand if we've got it connected and giving it a bit of a shake. Now as far as warranty goes, Quadlock will back their products for 1 year from the date of purchase. For me, I found the Quadlock system to be a little cumbersome to install. I'm sure this gets easier over time, but I just want to be able to walk up and easily put my phone onto the mount without fumbling around with it. Next up is the over-the-top bike mount from Rokform. This mount is double the cost of the Quadlock at $80. In the box you get the mount, a variety of spacers, a lanyard, and Torx keys for the adjustment of the mount and adjustment of the action camera mount. The Rokform case that goes with this mount costs $70, which makes this the most expensive of the 3 mounts at $150. Now for that price, the Rokform mount is made from CNC machined, anodized aircraft grade aluminum, and is able to fit handlebars ranging from 22 to 35mm in diameter. Installation is very similar to the Quadlock. If you do want to mount it facing back towards you, you just have to remove the action camera mount with the hex key that's provided. The way this mounting system works is very similar to the Quadlock mount. Line up the mount and twist it to lock it on. Using the Rokform system was kind of similar to using the Quadlock system. I'm sure with time, using this mount system would get easier. I just found it to require more effort than I thought I should need to put in. With this case, there's a plug that you can install in the center here, but when the case is like this and ready to put on the mount, this spot I'm touching here is actually just the back of your iPhone. Here's a look at the left side of the case with semi-detached buttons that are all clicky and responsive. On the right side is your side button that's semi-detached, as well as a cutout for your camera control button that does give you good access to the button. Looking at the bottom, you have a mounting point for a lanyard, cutout for your microphone, charging port, and speaker. Looking at the lip protection from the Rokform case, it has some pretty decent lip protection. As well, flipping it over, the camera protection on this case is quite good as well. Rokform cases are known for having really strong magnets on the back. Testing out the MagSafe, it does feel good and strong, with this mount staying on if I shake it, and then just showing you that there's no issues charging the phone using a wireless stand. Here's a side-by-side look of the Quadlock case and the Rokform case, just to show you what that size difference looks like. As far as warranty goes, Rokform has a 2-year warranty on all their products. And then last up is the out front bike mount from Peak Design. This mount costs $70, with cases starting at $50, so at least $120 for everything, making this the middle cost of the 3 mount systems. In the box you get the mount, an action camera mounting point, a thumb screw that lets you easily flip the mount to a filming mode, 4 different sets of spacers, as well as the hex key. This mount can be used with handlebars that are 22.2, 25.4, 31.8, and 35mm in diameter. The mount is made from ultra-white anodized aluminum. This feels a little repetitive to say, but to install this mount, it works very similar to the other 2 mounts. One thing I do really like about the Peak Design mount is that the screw is kind of attached in here and doesn't just fall out when it's loose. The way this mount works is a little tricky to show you from the other angle. On the bottom on each side are these rubberized release buttons, though you only need to press one at a time to release your phone. Cases that work for this mount start at $50, though the one I have here is the NAR case, which starts at $60. The biggest reason I like this case is because it has a camera control button installed, which works really well. Inside the case is a soft microfiber material to help keep the back of your phone scratch-free. There are a couple things to point out about this case. The first is that it's a bit taller than most cases. Here's the case side by side with the Quadlock case, just to give you an example. This does help offer protection at the top, and then at the bottom offers a bit of extra space here for the Peak Design mounting system for camera straps. The other thing to point out is that there is not much of a lip on this case. I have a screen protector installed, and the lip on this case barely keeps the screen protector from rubbing against surfaces. Here's a look at the left side of the case, which has aluminum buttons that are floating and super responsive. All around the edges of this case is this pattern, which helps give you added grip when you're holding onto the case. Looking at the side, you have your aluminum side button and your camera control button, which, like I'd mentioned before, works really well. This case is also MagSafe compatible and has some decently strong magnets as well. And then before I forget, here's a look at the camera protection that this case offers. I found using the Peak Design mount to be pretty intuitive. There's no twisting involved, you just walk up and put your case on the mount. In the end, I went with the Peak Design system because I just found that it was easier to put my phone on and off of the mount. The other 2 mount systems were fine, I just found them to be a little too cumbersome, getting my phone mostly on the bike mount. Hopefully you found this comparison helpful. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Subscribe and I'll see you again.